Welcome. We're doing our first ever podcast with Mr. 1000, and we're here to talk about our upcoming major movie. Which is going to be shown at the Lincoln Lions Theater in Massillon, January 18th. Doors open at 6, movie starts at 7.
Coming to a theater near you.
Well, Massillon Lions Theater, only one.
One time only.
And then after that, it's going to be released right here on this channel in 10-minute chunks starting the 19th, and then there'll be a 10-minute chunk every week.
Yeah, but I thought we were here to discuss the 1992 release Deadly Secrets by Warren Hinkle and William Turner about America's secret 40-year war with Cuba and the multiple assassination attempts on Castro. Is that not why we're here?
Not ever. I'm never reading a 1,000-page book.
I mean, I took notes, people.
And we're in front of a live studio audience, which is Patrick, Desiree, and
about 6,000 dogs.
The pups. The big Ed and the pups. The pups are here. Petey's here. Penny's here. Annabelle's here. Charlie's here. Nemo's here. And Scout's here.
And Ross and Rachel and Phoebe and John, Paul, and George. They're all here.
So, Dan, I know the story, but no one else does that's watching, if anybody watches.
Somebody will watch this.
You wrote the script for Camp Evil 5. Where did your inspiration come from?
Well, okay. So I used to work at a company that shall remain nameless. And there I met this girl named Meredith, and we became friends. And I like scary movies, and Meredith does not. Meredith is a star in the movie, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. And she said, hey, if you like scary movies, because you need to watch this tape that my husband made when he was young with his cousins. They would go in their grandma's backyard and make scary movies, and they called it Camp Evil. And eventually, one day I got to see the tape, and I loved it so much, I took the VHS home and I put it on DVD myself so it would be preserved. And I'll watch it. I will just pop that DVD in and watch it if I'm in a bad mood because it makes me laugh. And I was always kind of thinking in the back of my mind, but anyway, so I always kind of had it in the back of my mind that we spend so much time at a campground. Why can't adults do this? Why was it just a bunch of teenagers? I said it doesn't have to be any good. It just has to be fun so that we can watch it and laugh at it. But that was even been a couple years, and then I just started to notice, the older you get, the less time you spend sitting around the campfire, the less time we're at the camp. It just kind of seemed like I was getting it in the back of my head that if we don't do it now, which now is actually last year.
Like 2 years. I mean, it took us 2 years to film this thing.
That we weren't going to do it. But I know that what we were actually waiting for was Will and Sarah. That was what we needed. That was the final ingredient.
Yeah. Well, we did have to recast one person, but
that's another story.
What, Desiree?
Okay, so you get into that later. That's like way down the line of the story.
It's a podcast. You can go all over the place.
Oh, I need you guys to stay in order. My little brain can't handle this stuff.
We just
Oh,
get all over the place.
No.
You should. We did one with Patrick. He was all over the place.
Well,
my
that's
God, I can't
Patrick.
do
Yeah. Well, that has. We got to edit that. I have to edit that because I did 2 scenes because we were opening cards at the same time. But I actually have the original script right here that you typed out at your dad's house.
Patrick goes from Bangkok in 1982 to the Ford plant in 95 like that. So that we
That's true.
that's another movie.
That is a movie.
All right, but anyway, so this is always in the back of my mind. You know, we can knock something out in a weekend. It'll be 15 minutes long. We'll have fun. It's just the idea was always Camp Evil adults, but it's like it was written by the children.
We
You know?
have a couple kids in it.
Yeah. But like that same, maybe a little bit of that same mentality.
Yeah.
Like it was written by a 15-year-old. I'd like to think it's a little better than that.
You're only as old as you act. Right, Penny?
Anyway, but what actually happened was we were bowling, and I found out it was February. I thought it was in January all this time. It was in February. And I was having a really bad bowling night. I hadn't bowled for since before the pandemic, since before we were in a league. And I wasn't feeling it, and I wasn't feeling right. And there was I swear there was a dry spot on the floor that I kept hitting because I kept going over to my left.
I wish we had video of it.
Anyway.
I do have a couple pictures.
You do?
They will not be included with this show. They will not be in the comments.
You can't put pictures in the comment, but I can intercept it.
Yeah.
I can put
I
that
thought
in
you just said we
anywhere.
weren't editing.
Well, there's exceptions.
There's
I won't put it in there, Dan.
maybe it might be
I'll
a
show 'em and see
yeah.
if it
We'll
works.
decide. I actually have never seen the pictures because I resent they were taken. So
Oh, I never showed you?
no, I wouldn't look at them anyway.
Everybody else saw them.
Well, Dan, after filming
But
this
anyway-
movie, that picture is calm.
Well, yeah, but
that's calm compared to some of the stuff we did in this film.
but that's also part of the story. I mean, this could be a multiple part thing. But actually, for what it is, there's kind of some depth to this. I mean, at least listen, the amount of time and effort and money that we put into this movie and how little it is, it would blow your mind, and it makes you, at least it makes me appreciate not this here, but what you normally watch on TV a lot more.
I did film some of this. This isn't mine, but
Yeah,
I filmed a fire. You know what I should do is make one of these filming a fire. But anyway, I did film fire for the movie.
you could,
Maybe you should use your own fire and put it on a loop.
make a 10-hour video
Of a fire.
and say if you start this fire at X time, it'll burn until 10:30 tomorrow morning, and then that
We
comes
could call
back.
it the Gary fire.
The Gary. Oh,
There you go.
the Gary.
But we'll
That's
discuss
all
why
comes
a
back
little-
later.
Whose
Eh.
podcast is this?
It's always mine.
She's our producer.
I'm the producer. I'm always the hands behind all the stuff that I care about.
I will say that Camp Evil's biggest cheerleader is definitely Desiree. From probably about minute 1. But anyway, back to the bowling alley. We're bowling. I'm having a really off night. And finally, I'm really trying to bowl. I'm really trying to get back into it. And my shoe hits this dry spot. And I went down. And not only did I go down, I went about 8 or 9 feet forward down the bowling lane.
Well, you basically exploded.
Pinata.
My guts weren't anywhere.
But everything in your pockets were.
I don't keep anything in my pocket.
There's stuff in your pockets right now.
There's nothing in my pocket ever. There's,
But that stuff was like
That
3
stuff
lanes
went
in both
everywhere.
directions.
there's like 3 lanes over. What is that? Is that turkey?
You got turkey in your damn
There's
pocket.
nothing in my pocket except turkey.
Nemo, do you want some turkey?
Come here, Nemo.
For some turkey?
Come here, Penny. Penny.
Penny.
Come here, Penny. We got Penny on camera because she doesn't get to.
Penny
see
doesn't
anything.
ever.
Come here,
Come
Penny.
here.
So you go to him.
Yeah, she's my favorite.
Buddy.
We got Petey here too.
Fix her little neck.
Doggy break.
We're gonna have to
Yes, they
start
have
over.
diapers on because we got bad dogs in the house sometimes.
Penny,
Ah, Petey.
you want the turkey? There you go. This is my favorite Penny. Who wants? She's embarrassed to be on camera because she doesn't feel her diva self. Right
Well, we
now.
all know Petey, the star of Big Ed and the Pups.
I was a star first, you bastard.
Nah, no one even close.
I was on the stage in the '60s with the little skirts.
None of the dogs are in the movie though. Well, Petey is. He does make an appearance. Of course. Oh, Petey.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to get back on track here.
But Penny here toured the world with multiple bands in the '60s. World's greatest backup dancer until the drugs got the best of
The
her.
TV's getting away from table's getting away from us.
But we'll get her. That's a whole other movie.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the music.
Behind the curtain, yeah.
So, filming this movie, what was your biggest challenge?
Well, wait. So I fell down.
Yeah?
I really, really, really hurt my shoulder really bad. And
We know. We still hear about it.
well, it's okay now. But I really hurt my shoulder bad. I went home that night and I couldn't sleep. And I was sitting on the couch and literally at about 3 o'clock in the morning, the entire opening scene of the movie appeared in my head all at once, exactly pretty much as it was written in the script and exactly how it appears almost in the finished product, exactly the same. And I was so excited about it that about 5 o'clock in the morning, I texted Mike the whole idea. And he said, he said, "Oh, that's awesome. We have to do that." And I said, "Okay, well, that's the beginning. That's how we're gonna start."
I'm
And-
looking at this to see what changed.
And then that was, like I said, early February, a couple years ago. And then I started to tell people that, that I wanted to be in it. We're going to make this movie at camp. And I was writing a script that every time I got back to it, it just kept getting longer and more involved. And then I ran into a roadblock. I don't know how to, where should we
What was the
go?
roadblock?
Well, because as characters were developing, and I don't want to give too much spoilers away, but I ended up with one female character that was basically disassociated from the action the whole time, and another female character that dies within 5 minutes, and another female character that only could say one thing. So we needed, basically the easiest way is I needed someone for Sarah to talk to. So then I asked Emily if she wanted to be in the movie. And then that was a whole new character to play off of. So it literally took about 6 months to write it.
Yeah.
And it ended up 55 pages, but I tried to actually do it as professionally as I could, like a real screenplay. So there's some pages that don't really have much on them at all. But yeah, 55 pages, which is an awesome number.
Yeah.
And then, but even this 55 pages, I thought we can knock this out in a weekend, and it's going to be like 20 minutes long tops. And that is
No.
absolutely not the case.
The final movie is an hour and 17 minutes.
And it took 2 years to film,
Yes.
a year and a half.
And probably 100 to 120 hours of editing. Probably more than that.
But you guys actually had to do some filming before that was even written, right?
Yes.
Well,
Emergency situation.
There was
We talk about it.
Yeah, we
We've
talk
done
about it.
podcasts
so it's a,
yeah,
We can talk
'cause-
about the C word.
because when this started, Patrick, who was in here, he finally had pancreatic cancer.
Like
So
3 days later.
Yeah, a few days later.
no, literally a couple days
Yeah.
later after going bowling.
Well,
Yeah.
You went you fell on the 10th at bowling, and he found out on the 14th. So
Right.
4 days later, you didn't know right away, but
So we filmed with the first part in the spring.
And it was kind of a test shoot, and play around, but it was an also let's get what we can get with Patrick because we don't know how much time. But I also hadn't even written anything for Patrick. He was definitely in it, and I also knew exactly what I wanted him to do, but I hadn't written anything. So it's like, hey Patrick, we're gonna put you in the scene, and here's Henry. We'll get to Henry, but he's our
one of our kids.
one of the kids in the movie. And I basically wanted Patrick to say very inappropriate things to Henry, but not, obviously there's lines we're not going to cross, but kind of like the idea was kind of like the captain in Airplane. Do you like gladiator movies? And that's kind of what I said to Patrick, go right up against the line of something that might make Meredith mad, but don't cross it, And Patrick's like, okay. But then Patrick in another life was an actor because he just ran with it. And I never felt the need to do anything else again because what we got with him was gold.
Yeah, we filmed one piece with
One
them.
afternoon.
Yeah.
But we filmed one extra piece with them,
But Patrick just ran with it, and he became the engine. He became the fuel to make sure that
they got completed.
Yeah, because we couldn't waste it.
No, I mean, it's good to us. We think it's awesome, but it's us. So because everybody in this thing is our inner circle, essentially our camp group, which we spend every weekend together all summer long.
Yeah. And it's funny is that some people are like literally playing themselves and some people actually are acting. It's just kind of funny how it ended up.
We're all acting.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Probably
my
role.
Mike is definitely just Mike, and
Meredith was totally Meredith.
so but one thing I will say, besides the fact that I'm obsessed with the idea of podcasts, and I do consider this to be an actual podcast because I know people watch Ed's videos and I know people are going to come see the movie. I'm very, very shy and I'm very, very quiet and I hate getting my picture taken and I hate being on video. But when I was writing the movie and coming up with it, I said, I have to be in it and I have to give myself a part and I have to give my all to this because I am going to be asking these people to do some ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
And I have to be willing to also do the ridiculous stuff because there's no way in my head I can justify asking people to do this if I'm not going to do it,
Well, the final product is blown away my expectations.
And mine as well.
I mean, whoever thought we would actually get it into a theater?
Super cool. It's if you would have asked me even,
I mean, think you're going to be able to go to a theater, buy popcorn,
yeah,
buy a pop, and sit down.
and fight with a dog.
Yeah, and what the dogs won't be fighting like they are now. Annabelle is, I don't know what she's doing. She's trying to lay on the other dogs. You know, you have 6 dogs in the house.
But even if besides being in a theater, I mean that blows my mind. I mean, if everything goes right, we're gonna have a movie poster, we're gonna have a DVD, we might have merchandise for sale.
We will have a DVD.
We will at least have a DVD, yeah. But
It's going to be on YouTube for the world to see.
it's crazy.
Hey, after watching the one movie, it's Sharks in the Corn. There's no reason this thing couldn't go on Amazon Prime or something.
Yeah. Now listen.
We watched the Sharks in the Corn thing, and it was
Yeah.
it's a
No,
big
that's
heap.
serious.
It's a heaping pile of garbage.
There's a movie on Amazon Prime right now, just like you saying, called Sharks in the Corn. Camp Evil. I'm biased, but Camp Evil 5 is better than Sharks in the Corn. The only thing that guy had is more time and more money and some connection somehow. Also, the reason it's should we explain the title? Camp Evil 5 is because
It's the 5th one.
it's the 5th one, right? When Mike was young with his cousins, and even our friend Mike wasn't even in the first 2. It started before that. There was Camp Evil 1 and 2, and technically Return to Camp Evil and Return to Camp Evil 2. But Camp Evil 5 from the beginning to me was the title. I never wanted to call it like Camp Evil 5 Bloodbath or something like that.
I don't like those either.
It's just Camp Evil 5. There is a title for a sequel, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. But that's another part of the story.
Oh, sequel's happening.
Well, should I say?
Yeah, as long as you and I are interested, it's going to go because we can get whoever.
Yeah, I think if there'd be a sequel, it'd probably be a little different. Anybody that wanted to be in it could be in it, but
Yeah.
but anyway,
I think people will love it and think it's fun and want to be in this.
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, really, I didn't give people too much of a choice. I kind of said, hey, we're doing this.
Right.
But everybody would have to.
I think folks seeing that we get this
Come
thing into a
along.
theater, and I mean, who knew you could do that? I mean, we have to pay for it, obviously, but it's way worth it. It got approved. I mean, we had to go through a whole approval process to get it into the theater. You don't just rent the thing. I mean, there's tickets that's open to the public. People can come buy tickets to go see it. And we better buy our damn tickets pretty soon.
How funny would that be if for some reason it sold out? None of us.
It's sold out. None of us could go. That would be pretty wild.
The director was supposed to be here to give some comments, but we wouldn't let him in.
But he didn't. He forgot to buy his ticket.
But I think even people being like, oh my God, what does he want us to do? And how many scenes do we have? And how many lines of dialogue we have? I think even now that the cast has seen it, I think they're pretty happy.
Yeah. And this one turned it far and above what I thought, obviously. We don't want to give anything away.
Don't want to
But,
get too
I
many
mean,
spoilers.
basically, we filmed it on an iPhone.
Yeah. We don't have money.
We filmed it on an iPhone, and I edited it on an iPad with I had the little program on the iPad. But if we do it again, which we will, we're going to invest in money. We'll invest into some cameras. And Annabelle is not happy. She just wants to go to bed.
Well, heck, we didn't even have microphones until you
That's
filmed
Right.
it last
We didn't
year.
have-
almost to the end.
I had no idea. Well, we just thought we were filming a movie. We were going to watch it in somebody's house, and that would be it.
and just laugh, and then maybe get it out 2 years later and watch it again, and be
Right.
like, "Aha! Look what we did." You know?
But it turned into what you're able to do. What we're able to do with the iPhone is incredible. That you can just with an iPhone, you can film an entire movie and put this thing together. Yeah, there was hiccups. We had an issue with a mic that we
sometimes
did
the
use.
sound, daytime, nighttime,
Yeah.
was a big issue. But that's not anything that's our fault or the iPhone's fault.
Noises in the campground that we couldn't control.
Cars coming by.
Burn
with-
ban.
Yeah.
Burn
Oh
ban.
man. We're supposed to have all these fires, and we got a burn ban in the middle of it. So that was nice.
I'm trying to think.
Huh?
Just trying to think of some other things just to get out there.
In filming, what was the biggest obstacle?
Just getting people in one place, getting the cast together. You know, all these people except me have lives.
You have a life too, Dan.
And there's kids, and there's vacations, and sports,
and other hobbies.
and sickness, and health. And that kind of sounded silly, but you get what
Take
I mean.
her out.
Because, like I said, you know, I still almost until we were like halfway through. I'm like, why aren't we just knocking this out of the park? Why is this taking so long? You know, this should be 20 minutes long. And I really started to catch on, and it started to really form to me that this is actually going to be like feature length, you know. And then just like I said, people, we're asking people. I'm asking people to sacrifice. Just a microphone. I'm
okay.
asking people to sacrifice their weekends. So I also don't want to be
Was
pushing.
it a sacrifice though? Because to me, it was a lot of fun.
I had a blast. I don't know if others all the time had a blast.
Well, we were trying to do a good job, so it got frustrating. I mean, because number one, we don't know. We never filmed nothing before,
right, and we're not
So,
actors.
we
except
don't know
Ed.
placements and how to get people where they need to be. And for me, it was difficult to try to set up all the shots and then be in it and try to have all the shots is like impossible because nobody could watch the camera. So basically, after the day of filming, I just had what I had, and then we had to put together what we had.
Well, and then the times that we did have somebody, especially early on, say, "Hey, even me, hey, watch the camera. Henry, watch the camera." The thing is so sensitive that all you hear is,
yeah, I hear their breathing.
yeah. So it became almost a problem to even have anybody watch the camera, which I think is what led to a lot of, to be honest, like cars in the background where there shouldn't be, or
Yeah, well, there's nothing we could do about that.
I remember the first night that we edited Patrick and Henry stuff, and what we had at the time was like 19 minutes, and I was like, "Hey, Dan, we edited this, and we're at 19 minutes." He's like, "No, it's only supposed to be 20 minutes long."
yeah, we can.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to cut that down.
The finished product is awesome.
It's pretty.
It's awesome.
I don't want to overstate. I mean, but it's pretty. I was very impressed.
For just some bunch of middle-aged folks with an iPhone and
a script that did not have an ending. That should be pointed out. I will admit to that. There was an ending, but there was no end.
you got to keep it open. You got to have it ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Did you have any problem with? Any major problems with cast or anything?
Nope. Well, should I do it?
You can talk about it. We've mentioned that person in the previous video we just did.
Well, Gary, our friend Gary, did not want to be in it.
He originally did want to be in it.
Well, he did not want to be in it, and then we kind of talked him into it. But he did not. At the end, he did not want to be in it, and I think
his health had a lot to do with it. We didn't know that his health had deteriorated to the point that it did because as filming as he passed away 3 days ago.
Yeah.
But it's awful.
But I think
Now I wish he would have been in it.
well, no, that's what I'm saying.
I really wish he
I
would have been
really
in it.
wish he would have done it because knowing Gary, that part was very much written for him, because I actually never considered him that he would be part of the group that comes to camp and gets murdered.
Yeah.
I wanted something special for Gary that I knew he would be good at. So he was supposed to be the campground owner. And I think he could have done it.
He would have been awesome at it.
Yeah.
And we could have had that with him, but we don't. So
And then you had your backup person who couldn't come either.
Right. And that was actually a casting decision that was made outside of our friend group, and I think he would have been awesome. But he got COVID, and we literally had one day to film the campground owner, which led to some confusion and major discussion. But it actually came out really funny in the end. This kind of chaos turned into gold. So,
yeah.
obviously we wish Gary was the campground owner. So he is named in honor of Gary, Mr. Lawrence.
Yeah.
Which should explain, I guess, Gary's middle name.
But unfortunately, when the movie's done, okay? It's done. There's nothing I can do. So there won't be any in memory of or anything, because it's done. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing I can change. It's done. I've got to get it.
Well, I mean,
It's done.
it's done. Yeah.
No, there's nothing I can change. It's done.
So, but the biggest challenge was just getting everybody together in one place, and regretting that. It almost made me regret when we were filming that I wrote so many scenes of the group scenes. It made me wish I broke it down more individual so we could maybe get more done. Because if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have told you this thing's never getting done.
Well, you did say that, and I told you it's absolutely getting done. There's not a choice.
But I'm gotta say, everybody really pulled together. Once Ed had an edit of the movie of everything we had.
What are you doing?
I think once Ed had it,
our live studio audience will put their phones away.
Yeah.
We're boring apparently.
It's Black Friday. I'm shopping.
You're shopping.
Yeah.
We don't need anything else.
You don't know what you don't need if you don't have it.
But anyway.
You don't know you don't need it. You know you don't need it if you don't have it.
That's not true.
What? If you don't know something exists, you can't not know you need it.
I didn't know I needed a battery charger for my phone until you got me one. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I need this.
That's because it was 2018.
It lasts all weekend.
Yeah, last all weekend. You can go a whole weekend to camp.
Anyway, I didn't. But I think once we had an edit of the movie of everything we had, and it was actually like 35 minutes long, and we're getting to the end of another summer, that people really, I think, came together. And I mean, there were basically 2 Saturdays where we filmed almost all day to get this done.
It was exhausting.
It was, yeah. Then at the end of the one day, I was ready to kill him, and I'm sure he was ready to kill me. And that's not even any of the actors that were telling, sit here, say this, let's rehearse this,
Oh my gosh. Getting folks to talk loud enough which led to gold in one scene.
Absolutely.
The funniest scene of the whole movie is because
one of them.
no, that's so damn funny, because
You had to ask Mike to do that scene
Yeah,
10 times.
I had to ask Mike over and over again to talk louder and talk louder. So then he just yells it, and
It's completely out of context. It
it's-
doesn't make any sense.
but it's hysterical. I might actually use that in a preview because no one's gonna know. We
Yeah.
can use that in a preview. No one would know what that means.
Well, I won't. Well, unless we say, but well, shall we say the one that was mine?
Which one? What do you mean?
We say like 8 different times.
Eight different times. That was with Mike. Mike
No.
was the most difficult.
Yeah, but we forgot the peanut butter and jelly.
Oh,
Maybe the dumbest line in the whole thing.
that's pretty funny though.
My favorite part, though, I'm not going to say, but my favorite part from the beginning is still my favorite part. My favorite thing that I wrote is still my favorite part in the movie.
Which one is that?
Scene 26.
Page 72.
Or no, scene 26 or 25, one of them. Actually, double check. Let's see if you can tell me what.
Yeah, if you got this thing memorized, there's something wrong.
What's that? Act 2, scene 20.
That's what.
Right, go back. Yeah. Scene 25. Sorry.
Which one?
This whole page.
Oh, it's all right.
I don't have a script, so I don't know what it is.
Well, we're not going to say right now.
There's a script sitting over there.
Is there?
There was.
Oh.
Not going to say right now.
We might. We have ideas for doing a few more of these, hopefully with some other people that were involved.